Welcome. In front of me I have a ZTE Blade A72s, which I don't think they put A in here, right? Yep, so it's A72s. Not exactly sure why it's missing from here, but anyway, let's just pop it straight open and see what we're dealing here. Now, I will just start off by saying that this device is a budget device, so we will need to tone down our expectations from this. So anyway, continuing, let's see what we got in the box. There is no case whatsoever, just paperwork. Here we get our phone. Charger. Oh, this is a 22-watt charger. And here, I assume we will have a cable and headphones. Normal jack. So I assume we will have actually a headphone jack here. So let's just get a look at the device itself. This is a plastic back, if you're wondering. So taking a look at the device, at the bottom we have our Type-C charging port, so that's pretty nice. Our speakers, microphone, headphone jack. Here we have a tray for our SIM card and I assume SD card as well. And yes, so it is dual SIM/SD tray. Then at the top we got absolutely nothing. And then on our right side we got our volume rockers and our power button that doubles also as a fingerprint sensor. Now, when it comes to the cameras at the back, we do have I believe it was a 50 megapixel main sensor. We can actually find it quickly. See, I'm looking at a store page for the specifications of this device, so it's a little bit on a not organized side. If I can find the camera quickly, but I can't. Oh, there we go. So found it. So we got 50 megapixel, I assume a wide sensor. The store that I'm looking at has no specifications if it's wide or not, but that's typically the default. And then we got a 2 megapixel or dual 2 megapixel sensors. So that I can safely assume are the shit cameras, aka the macro, lens, and also depth sensor. These are usually a 2 megapixel sensors, or at least anything that is at 2, those are the 2 sensors. So the cameras here, the main one will be okay, but the 2 ones below that are just absolute trash, and it's not really usable for anything. Now at the front we have a 5 megapixel sensor as our selfie shooter. Okay, so moving on, in terms of the display, if you've seen this right here, it is a 6.745. Wow. Let's just round it up and say 7 or 6.75 inch display. It's an HD plus resolution, which there is a reason why they make it look a little bit better on paper than it is. What it refers to HD plus is a 720p resolution, which is exactly 1600 by 720. So the plus is that it's just not a 16:9 resolution. That's what plus refers to. But in all honesty, the resolution is on the lower side, so nothing really special. Now we also didn't see any kind of refresh rate or higher refresh rate on the little pen flip right there, so obviously I wouldn't expect it, but I'm gonna still look at the specifications. Maybe there is one, which would be very interesting. But finding it in here is again pain. Yeah, the site that I'm looking at It's a little bit on the wonky side, but yeah, there is no higher refresh rate right here, which is quite odd considering the S. There is a ZTE Blade A72 without the S, which has 90 Hz refresh rate. This one has an S and it's just kind of worse, so I guess it's S is for suck. So anyway, let's just keep on going. We have 128 gigabytes built-in storage, which is pretty nice, and contrary to what they say, which is 6 gigabytes of RAM, if you look closely, we have 3 plus 3. Now, this is not two different like modules of RAM. This is 3 gigs of RAM plus 3 gigs of storage that is taken out from this. So by default, I believe it will be enabled right away. So we don't actually have 128 gigabytes of storage to deal with. We have 3 gigs less of that. But with that being said, I will also just mention that any kind of RAM that is taken from storage will be significantly worse. And companies that do this, for a phone like this, which has only 3 gigabytes of RAM, that's okay. But what's not okay is the marketing for it, which is misleading, highly misleading. So just know that we have 3 gigs of RAM right here plus 3 of storage, which acts as RAM, which will be significantly slower, and when you get to actually use it, your device might feel just worse than if you don't get to use it. So you might, if you encounter that your phone just starts like thinking or opening apps for a little bit too long, you can go into the settings and disable this RAM extension, and at that point you might need to load up apps more frequently, where you open them up and they always need to load up even though they were open just a second ago, but they will be opening up quicker than if you have to load them up from just storage itself. So something to keep in mind. Now, moving on, the processor in here is a Unisec T606. Running on Android 12 with 5000 mAh battery and that 22 watt charging, so that's actually pretty okay. We don't have anything like 5G in here or NFC, unfortunately. NFC would have been nice to see at a device like that, considering this is a budget, but even budget devices nowadays come with NFC. And lastly would be probably the price, which let's actually check out how much it costs, if I can find it anywhere for sale. Okay, so the price is at about 700 PLN, which, let's see how much that would come out to be in dollars. So it's about $170. Ooh, that's not good. Now with that being said, for 170 bucks, this phone ain't good. Yikes. I actually had no idea. I'm literally recording this as I go, and yeah, $170 for a phone like this is a big oof. That's a big L. There is nothing redeeming about this device for this price. Resolution is crap, RAM is crap, storage is crap, battery is okay, but battery is just kind of like a default. Most of the phones come with this. Processor is obviously crap. Cameras are 50 megapixels as standard. Android 12, that's okay. There's Android 13, but this is a budget device, so that's okay. Again, it's standard for most of the devices at almost any price range. So yeah, there is very little that adds up to this price tag. And honestly, if you haven't gotten this device just yet, I would probably recommend not to go for it, because at this price range, which I am getting this price just to make this completely clear, from a store. It's a Media Expert, which is a Polish store, and I'm just literally converting the price of PLN to US dollars. So chances are this price may vary, but the price still is quite high for a phone that is a budget device by all intents and purposes. This device should be costing about like $120, not $170. And for about, what is it? Let me quickly check, because there was a Xiaomi Poco, F5, and I'm very curious how much that one costs. So F5, let's see. Okay, that device is significantly more expensive. So I guess I can't really compare these two. But yeah, there are most certainly better devices than this, and I would probably recommend, if you still have the choice, to look in other avenues for different devices, different brands maybe, because this one is a little bit too overpriced for what it offers. Now, with that being said, hopefully you found this video informative. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and thanks for watching.